How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is a brisk afternoon in Calgary right now. I actually did a bunch of running around this morning and dropped the Irish Pirate Queen. She's not here, as you can see, off at my cousin's house because I'm going to be a little bit busy this weekend. I got my little girl overnight tomorrow night, and then I'm going to do some camping. Yep, some things never change. I'm gonna go do some camping in the mountains over the weekend, and Lindsay's gonna join me on that trip. But there's much point in dragging Grace all the way up the mountain. So she's gonna have a nice rest over at Lindsay's. And today I'm hoping to get to a project that I had mentioned a couple videos back when I said that Jeremy had sent me something rather cool and it was behind the driver's seat. And I said we might get to it in the next video. Well, if you've been paying attention, we did not. And if you haven't been paying attention, well, make sure you have notifications turned on and that you're subscribed to the channel so you never miss a Van Life Plus episode. Hi, Penny. Looking extra cute this morning. This afternoon, again, our timetable is all off, isn't it? The really cool thing behind the driver's seat is none other than, boom! No, not the Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops are in the way. Boom! There it is. It is an Alpine radio for Lucky to replace the factory radio. Hello. So this is going to be quite the undertaking, I think. I've done this once before in an old 1995 Honda Prelude that I had. It wasn't as fancy of a deck. It was a cheap brand, but I seem to remember it being fairly straightforward. Jeremy seems to know what he's talking about. He also sent me whatever the hell this is. This is one other part that needs to be utilized for this installation. The other part is right here. All this other stuff. So I haven't even really looked at this to see what's going to be involved in all of this. Like I said, I'm hoping it's straightforward. I do have to remove all of Lushies. Okay, you know what? Not awake yet. It's after 12 and I'm not awake yet. What am I, 19 again? Ridiculous. Thank you, Ravita. Maybe that will help me speak better, but there's no guarantees. Lucky's dashboard, the majority of it has to come off. So as when I was doing my spark plugs, I had to remove the doghouse, I got to remove the two kick panels on the driver's side and the passenger side, and then this whole face comes off. So I'm going to get myself organized here, get the tools ready, get Lucky's area sort of tidied up so we have room to work. Brooklyn's mom is picking her up from school today, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to tackle this project, because if it ends up going off the rails, which there is always a very good chance that that happens, I can continue to work into the night and hopefully wrap it up. But I feel like if I keep yapping right now, I'm going to delay this process even more. So give me a moment and we're going to tidy all this nonsense right up. All right, so there is that. So that's as tidied up as it's going to get. And the main thing is we just got everything out of like that cubby up there, this little cubby here. I've got both of these panels off, passenger and driver. They're going to be living rent-free right there for a while, right next to my boots. The doghouse and stuff, this little area shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be coming off at all. Like I said, it's just this part. And then over here, I got all of our stereo bits and pieces and whatnot. So in this bag came this. We've got, it just says it's a connector, car stereo harness, sure. We got radio hardware in here. We got zip ties and crimpers and all that good stuff. And this is an antenna adapter. And then this little kit over here had all of this. It had whatever the hell this little black box is, whatever harness this is, and then this nonsense. So I'm definitely going to be tapping into old skills. I hope this goes well. I don't know, but we shall see. I'm also hoping that we can like omit certain things like an antenna adapter. I don't really need that. I don't use my radio, but I don't know. We'll see what happens once we get it all open. And that is the next step. Actually, you know what? That is the next step technically, but maybe we should actually open up the radio itself and see which of these sort of harnesses connect to the back of it. Oh, there's a hefty instruction manual, so that's good. Oh yeah, and this last piece up here, this is just like framework and mounting stuff to make sure that this fits into the space where the old radio, or like the cavity that the old radio will leave when you yoink it out of there. All right, let's see. Whoop, we got a whole bunch of, oh boy, look at all this stuff. Why would you? It should just be plug and play. This is not looking like it's plug and play. Holy crap. Why is there a huge USB cable with what? All right, well, where's the actual deck? Is that what these things are? Are they still called decks? That's what they were called back in in the early 2000s when I was getting one installed in my first Prelude, which was actually a 1989 Prelude. I didn't do that one. I had it installed professionally. But that was like the hotness, right? You go down to Visions or Best Buy or Future Shop. Who remembers Future Shop? Sounds Around. Oh, and you look at the decks. They're a little bit different. That's how you were just trying to look to play CDs in your car back then. I don't believe this is a CD player. I believe it's just a touchscreen radio. There she is, right? And it actually works with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you're a weirdo, but more importantly for me, Apple CarPlay. So our goal is to get that shiny installed up there. My God. Well, wish for the best. Looking at the back of this thing, right? So we've got this many connections, right? SXM, GPS. Not going to need GPS necessarily because they're just going to use my phone. Camera switch, pre-out, auxiliary, and big old power. And then USB up here. Maybe I will just take a minute to just relax here, finish my delicious Revita tea, and read through the manual quickly just to see what all is involved. Like the thing with these radios is this thing is not just specifically made for the Chevy Express, right? It's made for a whole bunch of different vehicles in mind. So there's a good chance that a lot of this wiring and stuff is going to be for cars that have a little bit more advanced controls in them. Like case in point, steering wheel controls. Like in my Jeep, I have buttons on the back of the steering wheel to like volume up and track up when I'm listening to music, and on the front of it, you've got not navigation controls, but other controls. You know what I'm talking about. There's buttons on the steering wheel. Lucky doesn't have any of that shit. This should be fairly straightforward. This is why I got a 2007 van. Well, it's one of the reasons. So yeah, I'm gonna take a minute, read the book, see what it says to me, and then we will attempt to yard off that dashboard. Yikes. The book doesn't say much. It's mostly just instructions on how to operate the unit when it's done. It's got some fairly basic install things on like one page, but I think it's going to be a lot easier, at least for somebody like me who's a little bit more familiar with this stuff, to just get this apart and see what the back of this radio offers us. Because ultimately all we're trying to do here is straight swap these radios, and all of that nonsense should be the thing that allows that to happen. Because obviously whatever wiring is behind this radio is not going to automatically speak to the connections on the new one. So I do have to pry this off. There shouldn't be any screws that hold this on, except there's usually two nuts in this cavity here. I already have those out. They're in the cup holders down here, so no worries there. I'm pretty sure you actually have to put the van into auxiliary mode so that you can move the gear shifter down to the 1 position, because I think it's in the way. I've never had this all of the way off. I did pry it forward a bit when I replaced my climate control head unit up here, but I think I was just doing this and just kind of working it in at the back, because it is a little tricky here, because we've got stuff, well, this one I can take out because it's actually not connected right now, but like this old switch here, right? This panel pops right out. Ooh, that came right apart, so that can sit down there. But we've also got my tow haul button here. That will have an electrical connection going on behind it to see what that looks like when I get to the back. Same with the airbag on-off key switch here. That'll have an electrical connection at the back. So I'm just avoiding the inevitable here by yapping. Let me see if I can get this started. Ooh. There we go. Okay, that's popped. That's popped. There we go. The little van, the little Lucky and the little Grace. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is, I've heard that if I turn the van on and then unplug the airbag thing, we could have a problem. I mean, I already have an airbag warning light because of the seatbelt issue. I'm just wondering, because I definitely can't, yeah, I definitely have to do this weird nonsense here. Where's my keys? So let's put this into, like, shush, bring it down to 1. This should now come off over this. Well, maybe not. Oh wait, I'm gonna have all these buttons here too. Oh, I thought that came away. I've got my lights and stuff, my headlights and whatnot. So back here, this should just be a matter of unplugging it though. Like, shouldn't be too tricky. Okay, so I think it might be easier if I do this, and this is kind of what I thought how this would behave when I was first looking at it. This little like square that the switches all sit in. At the back here you can see that there is this pigtail that's connected to the back of it, and I've been struggling trying to get it unplugged, but then just noticed that there's actually these mounting like things here that you can press in. There's 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and I think if you just sort of press them in and pull this whole square, yeah, look at that. Bye-bye. You can hang down there. Cause that pigtail was real tricky. It wasn't giving me the give that I needed in order to unplug it. So, all right, so that's out. Learning. Hello, Lucky. Yeesh. Pull yourself together, man. Let's try this again. Accessory mode. Foot on the brake. Down to 1. Now, will this come up? Cannot be done while holding a phone in your hands. Well, maybe you can, but by a better person than me. Now we're still being held down by the airbag thing here. I wonder if I can pry this free. Oh, actually also the tow haul control thing is gonna be holding us down. Simply the panel. How are you gonna behave? So you pop out like this, that. Oh, I just broke it. Lucky is brittle. It's okay. Just a little mounting tab, it's fine. Oh, you're stuck on the, oh, that came right out. Perfect. Okay, can this now, oh, that's not going to fit on this model. I watched somebody with a 2011 Chevy Express do this, and this whole little situation with the airbag was completely different. They were able to do this and then twist it in a way that this would go back and clear this. I don't think this model year is going to allow me to do that. So I may have to turn Lucky off. I wonder if I can work this. Because again, I don't want any errors. I also don't want the airbag popping off in my face. That would not be ideal. All we have left is this thing. All right, there we go. Tow haul is clear. We'll put that over there. And then all we have left, aside from the frickin' airbag thing, is the other cigarette lighter over here. And I should be able to just reach around and unplug this. Yeah, I make it sound so easy. It's not. Oh, there it is. Okay. They're all different. Okay, there. I got it. We are free. This is how you know it's a job that's going to be taking a little bit of time. As the job goes on, the layers of clothing start to come off. All that's left now is the airbag, but I can't turn Lucky off with the gear shift down. Hang on. Let me see something here. Because if you put the gear shift back up, right here is where it gets caught. Super annoying. Up and over, sir. Let's turn you. What's happening? There. Can I just unplug this without problems? Let's see. All the errors. I think what you can do is unplug this while the van is off, then replug it back in. Then I should be able to move the gear shift and then untangle the wires, right? That's my theory. I'm gonna give it a good old college try here, because this actually has a safety tab, so you don't remove it. That's what this orange thing is. My God, I don't want to get crushed by the That's so paranoid. The airbags are gonna go off. Don't get crushed by an airbag. Although it'd be pretty funny if they did deploy, so let's at least capture it, because it's an airbag there and there, right? Oh God. Penny! Cover your eyes. Can you imagine? Hey, it's unplugged and nothing exploded. Quality content. We survived. So now here, I just fed it back through. We are going to plug it back in. Put the little safety tab back in, just even though it doesn't matter. Tuck that down there for now. Down to 1. Nothing is plugged in now. How hard is this going to be to actually maneuver out of here? Okay. There we go. Samus, you're in the way. Thank you for your service. Oh. All right. Lucky's dashboard trim piece thingy is off and in the living space of the house. It's going great, Penny. I hope we're not disturbing your nap. And there's the radio. Man, I had my screwdriver ready here and I didn't even remember. I already knew this, but I completely forgot that the bolts, the mounting bolts that hold the radio in are not screwdrivers. They're little tiny sockets. Those are, I don't know. I want to say 10, but I think they're 8s, right? I had to remove one there and over here when I replaced the climate control head unit. So we need to take those out to get the radio out. That's not in the tools that I've prepped. Of course it's not. Got to make a trip to the back of Lucky now. All right. Got our boots back on. Ooh, a little breezy out here too. I'd rather not pull out my entire socket set. I do have, right here on this guy, is a 10. Yeah, that's gonna be way too big. So now, I do have to get my socket set. All right, fine. Everything's already in expose the entire house to the world mode because, like I said, I was over at Lindsay's and reorganizing stuff while I was dropping Grace off, so shouldn't be too hard to do. This is what we need. Put everything away. But of course, we'll be back. Okay. Let's see if we crawl back in and make ourselves comfortable again. Was I right? Is it an 8 mil? It is not. I was wrong. Maybe it's a 7. Oh, this is going to be the one I don't have. Let's see. 9:30 seconds. That will work if need be. It's a little big. All right, well, I'm not going to fart around. We're just going to go with the 9:30 seconds, and we're going to make it work. Let's put you down here. Oh, get back in. Sit down. Take a load off. Oh, you're on top of the screwdriver. How embarrassing for you. Right. Will this work? Yes, it will. Okay. These are out. This should come. Yep, there we go. So there's our radio coming out. And at the back, we've got 2 connections. All right, we got the main harness here. And we got the, this is the antenna. Will that screw off? I mean, it must. All right, well, this should be simple. Just poppity pop. Bada bing, bada boom. Done and done. And then this bad boy is going to be a little trickier. It's a very, very stiff cable. It's probably a coaxial cable would be my guess. I'm going to spin the shit out of it and see if it comes off. I'm not 100%. I might have to look this up just to see. It might at the end of the day be, you might have to cut it. And in that case, I'm not going to be able to repair it because a coaxial cable is a bitch. You need special tools and whatnot. You're supposed to replace the whole run of it. I imagine this is what runs to the antenna on the outside of Lucky there. You know, behind the sleeping putty tat. The big black shaft. Well, the tall, skinny black shaft. That thing! Anyway, man, I don't know if this is going to come out very easily. Oh! You can't make this shit up, dude. It just unplugs. It just unplugs. Okay. Oh! I don't think anything about this is going to be plug and play. I've just been looking at all this stuff and slowly having stuff dawn on me. The USB, you want to know what I bet this is? I bet this, you plug the USB into the back of this, and then the other end is supposed to come out or get mounted somewhere, and that's what you would plug your phone into to have the CarPlay, unless it's Bluetooth as well, but that's what I think that is for, right? Slowly figuring stuff out. So we'll put the USB cable up there, probably end up using that. But everything else here, like, I have no idea what the hell this is. What is this? Select GM stereo replacement interface with steering wheel control retention. Oh, maybe this is what I was talking about. I don't know if I'll need this, because I don't have steering wheel control stuff. But I'm not going to be able to explain this very well. That is for damn sure. What this is going to involve is me looking at the plug and seeing if anything plugs into it. I don't think it's going to, and I may have to go to the old YouTubes myself to see about this. Like, what the hell is that thing? I'm going to be saying that a lot. Oh, is this the GPS thing? Oh, so I plug that into this, and then this just sits in there, and then it gets to probably for onboard navigation. Okay, that makes sense, sort of. What is this? This is a microphone. Yeah, I don't need that hooked up. I need to talk to my radio for. And then the antenna, that should be straightforward. This thing, I don't know, key 1, key 2, ground to a microphone jack? This is probably a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. Okay, I'm starting with just getting these the plastic bits on because, like, that's how I'm going to have to mount the radio in here. Because without this stuff, there's no way for the radio to actually stay here, right? It just sort of flops around, got nothing to attach to. So there's a couple different plastic pieces. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You would assume, look, that fits on there, great. But there's no way for that to clamp itself down just yet. I could glue it, but it's probably ill-advised. So I've been looking at the little book here. Extract 3 screws securing the radio, unplug all connectors, and remove. So it gives me instructions to do what I just did. Super helpful. Carefully pry out the radio trim to release fastening clips and remove. Extract 3 screws securing the radio, unplug all connectors, and remove. All right, plastic doohickey 1, plastic doohickey 2, bag of screws and tabs and stuff. And then we've got these. So this needs to go, make it look like the drawing. It's a nightmare. All right, this is always a stressful part because if I'm not really going to be able to explain this too well, and I'm sure that the people that care about this already know this, and the people that don't care about this, well, don't care about this. But anyway, in the instructions here, we've got these 3 pieces, 1, 2, and then 3, that faceplate thing, right? And they come with all these little knobbies on them, right? Well, depending on the vehicle, and in my situation, right, I go to the Express, and it says remove the shaded ones. So if you look really closely, you can see shaded, right? And the ones that are not shaded in, you leave. I have to bust those off. So this is very monotonous. I really got to pay attention. And by busting them off, it makes it so that it will fit into my specific application. So as exciting as that sounds, I'm going to do my best to just make this work. And I will check in when I'm done or pulling my hair out. It could go either way. Okay, it's not nearly as bad as I thought. For sure, I thought I was going to need an X-Acto knife, but you don't. So as an example, like, I've already removed a bunch off of this one. This little guy here, don't need it for the Express. So just bust the shit out of it, pull it off. Now this side is pretty much good to go. This thing will then get attached to the side of the radio and the faceplate after I modify all of that. And then I will secure it to the radio, and it will slide in here, and these holes, look at this, line up, right? And that's how this whole thing will mount itself. So the top one, this little black nipple, is a guide, and the bottom one is where the screw goes. So it's actually not nearly as stressful as I thought it would be. Yay. I mean, this is just literally mounting it, as has nothing to do with wiring it up and making sure the radio actually works, right? This is such a weird way of doing things. You want it to work? Effing break it. It was anticlimactic. Okay, so there we go. I got those on there. This is our new bracket that's going to hold the radio on. So I'm going to put this basically in here. It should fit. Not really. It's a little finicky for sure. But now what I got to do is I got to use the included screws and whatnot here to mount these to the side of the radio in the holes that are in the head unit itself. So that's what I'm going to do. Fast forward, please. Okay, I think I'm on the right path, but let's start with the easy one and get this out of the way. Let's start with the antenna, because this came with this little adapter here. This should be fairly straightforward, because on the back of the new radio, it's got this big old black cable with a dark, deep shaft. Everybody just calm down. This has got, what would be the male end. Does this just go in here, I'd assume? Is that plugged in? And then this end plugs into this end here, right? Does that make sense? I mean, that snapped right in. This end was a little bit more questionable. I didn't feel a nice, satisfying snap. But maybe that's it. Maybe it just sits in there. Right, that must be it. It's just a coaxial cable. So that's done. Yay, the first part of the radio is hooked up. The worst part. And now I'm pretty sure most of this is going to go to this harness here, because this little black end it clearly plugs in down here, right? That's got to be it. Yeah, satisfying snap. So that is that. Now I'm just going to double check and make sure I've got colored wires there that match all of the colored wires here. And it should be Bob's my uncle. But it's more likely going to be Fanny's my fucking aunt. So who out there is getting stressed out just looking at this? Imagine how I feel. So I think there's a lot more connections going on here than will ever be necessary for my application. In my brain, for as little as I know about this, I've got the radio needs power, the radio needs ground, and it needs to have wires going out to the left speaker and the right speaker. So looking through all of this, my headache has been the factory harness here. These wires, right? Like you've got, let's say, like orange and green wires there. Well, there's no matching orange and green wires that come out on the other side of the part that clips into the factory pigtail, right? So I've traced it down being like, okay, well, if it goes in, one in on this side, where does it come out on this side, and through that sort of like painstaking looking really closely, because I got 40-year-old eyes now, kind of determined or ruled it down to the fact that, we take a quick peek here, nothing is permanent. These are all just like temporarily attached right now. There's no power going to anything right now anyway, so nothing to concern ourselves with. But white, as an example here, we've got two white wires. We've got a solid white wire and then a white wire with a black stripe. Same with the gray wires down here. We got a solid gray wire and a gray wire with a black stripe. That's positive and negative for the left and right speakers. So like if white is left, gray is right, and they got a positive and a negative. The green wire that's connected here is probably useless, and the purple wire that I don't have connected, just as useless, because I believe those would be rear left and right. So like green would be rear left speaker, purple would be, excuse me, right left speaker. But Lucky doesn't have rear speakers, right? Here, we've got a ground, right? Just wrapped on. I don't know why it has this, like it wants me to mount it to the chassis, but anyway, wrapped around there temporarily. And then what we need to do is we need to take this yellow wire here. You see it says battery, and that is this. That is the power wire. And up here on the factory, I don't want to spin it too much, but that is that red wire with the white stripe. So what I'm going to do is I think we're going to just lightly attach the yellow cord here, give it power. It won't give it power right away just from touching it. I'll have to actually turn on the ignition in Lucky, and we'll see if this sucker even turns on. Because I've got a little bit of knowledge, and that definitely is a necessity when you're doing stuff like this. But again, I don't even know if I'm on the right path with all of this nonsense that I got hooked up and whatnot. Like, this really is just, well, ill-advised is the word that keeps coming to mind. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure none of the positive, none of the negative wires here are touching each other. We should be good. Everything looks clear. And we're just going to give Lucky a little bump, separate those gray wires a bit, and see if she, and by she I mean the radio, comes to life. All right, let's put the keys in the ignition. Make sure the harnesses are all connected. We're just going to put the Yep. And that gives it power. There's definitely power coming through. So that's a constant power. All right, so shove that down in there. That's touching. Let's bump the key here and see if the radio turns on. Hello? I see nothing happening. It's also a weird chime. Have I ever heard Lucky make that chime before? What if we fire her on? Yep, we don't have any power at the radio unless you need to physically turn it on. So that's not great. This is the headache I was talking about. So something is wrong somewhere, and we must continue pressing on, because that radio should have just lit up. Oy. All right, I'm going to try this again. There's this red wire here that was labeled as auxiliary, or no, sorry, not auxiliary, accessory. So I don't know, maybe that needed to be plugged in. It wasn't. There was no red wire coming out of this harness, so it tripped me up, but let's put the keys back in Lucky. I just touched the yellow together without the key in, and I heard this thing sort of click. So let's try this again. See, if I touch this yellow one, you probably can't hear that, but the radio is clicking. Okay, we're going to shove that in. An accessory bump for Lucky. Hey, look at that shit. It worked, so that's all we needed. Well, but now, how do I test music? Can we get radio? Oh my God, it's coming out of the speakers.
Tips, and I remember when
Oh!
I stayed with my sister when my
Don't touch anything.
were really young. I used to inspect their candy.
The radio is working.
Stuff I liked.
I don't know if it's coming out of both sides.
You know, there was something wrong.
It's definitely coming out of the left speaker. Yap, 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 yap down there. Yep, definitely coming out of that speaker. So cool. Okay, this was not nearly as bad as I thought. I mean, it's still a rat's nest of nonsense. I'm just going to remove this green wire because I'm sure it's doing nothing. Yeah, it's doing sweet F all. So we don't need the green wires at all, or the purple ones. We've got sound, we've got the radio working. Oh, I guess what I need to do now is maybe plug in that turn this down. Wait, where's the volume? I just went to like turn the knob on the old system. Is that this? Oh my God, that's so cool. This was way easier. Okay, where's that cable, the USB cable? But do I even have, what do I do right here? Okay, let's plug this into the USB connector up here. Gotta be super careful I don't jiggle all these wires too much. So the USB cable's plugged in. Now let's get our iPhone cable out of, oh God. There we go. Okay. Don't jiggle wires. Let's just plug this in here. This is just my old ass phone that I use for music. It says unlock iPhone to use accessories. Okay. So we'll unlock it, and then let's go. How do I get to it? The GNNS antenna is disconnected. What's the GNNS? Oh, it's got Ed Sheeran popped up on there. Allow CarPlay with 23 DA. 23 dumbass? Well, phone is locked. Anyways, allow. All right, it's going to be copywritten, I think. But let's play. It's playing Ed Sheeran from the phone. We figured it out. All right, very exciting. Now, all I have to do to wrap this up is basically connect all of this stuff properly with those little red connectors down there. So I have to disconnect everything and reconnect it, and I'm going to get rid of wires that I don't need. This thing is basically doing everything I need to do. Maybe I'll do one more test, although I don't really see why. Like, I'll plug my actual phone in and see if I can pull up like the Apple Maps or Google Maps on the screen, although I'm sure it will, because I'm sure that USB cable is just doing everything that it needs to do. So I just need to do all that. I just need to make this all look pretty, make it permanent, and then in theory, shove this back in there and fill the hole. Yeah, she's still up there sleeping. She's just having a great time. So there's a lot of excess nonsense here, for sure. I am not going to hook up the GPS on the back of this or any of this other stuff. This white port down there is for all of these connections for like cameras and every other damn thing. I'm not worried about that right now. Lucky is a very basic bitch. That's how we like her, and that's how we're going to keep her. So let me invoke the power of my wiring skills, and we will be right back yet again. Oh my goodness, you look so cute. I think she's just having a fun time hanging out with me, that I'm just sitting here farting around with this stuff. So this is all like done now, I would say. I got these more permanent crimps on here, right? And all of these extra wires, just to be on the safe side. I taped them all up with electrician's tape so they don't touch, because that is the power side of things. Obviously, this van, probably all of the express vans, were wired with the intention of being the passenger van configuration, which would have had the speakers in the back, whereas the cargos don't, right? Because there's never any seats back there. But it's easier, I would imagine, when they're making these, to just have the wires there in case, rather than having an alternative to not include those rear speaker wires. So this is all good to go now. These bare wires here, these are irrelevant. Those are this side of the pigtail and everything, or the harness that goes into the radio. Now it's just a matter of shoving it all in there. I'm going to check one more time now that it's a little easier for me to see the bloody thing. I say that and then I can't find a position for the damn thing. Right, keys up here. Accessory. Lucky you're being temperamental. There we go. Yep. Fires right up. There we go. Emotion in mobility. Penny. Lucky's radio has returned. Hey, Penny. We got her all back together, and that looks pretty good. It's a little glary, but it's fine. It's definitely going to take some getting used to. Like, I've just had that stock stereo in there for ever since I got the van. I was going to say for so long, but the entire time I've had Lucky, it's just been that stock stereo. But it works really well. I've just tested it a few times. Everything is back the way it needs to be. All our panels are back. We got the dash back. And for now, I just got rid of the switch that was completely useless, and we just have the USB cable coming out here. I might put a little cable clamp on it somewhere just to sort of keep it secure. What I could do in the future is go to like Pick and Pull, a junkyard or whatever, and get another one of these. And then use my Dremel to make a smaller hole so that this USB is just, flush with it, as it is right now. Big gaping hole. It's not going to stay flush, but it works great. And there we go. That is awesome. It sounds really good. It sounds... Actually, it does. When you change the radio, it does sound a little bit better. And obviously paired with the speakers I fairly recently installed, it's really nice. And it's nice to have the map app working. I tested it. It works. I set my destination for New Denver, and it all came up. No problem. It does yell at me about the GNN or GNSS antenna not being installed. That is that stock factory GPS antenna. I still have it. It's all down here if I decide to install it later in the future. But right now that's just for navigation from the screen itself. But I never use that stuff. I find that to be, I don't even use it in Grace. Grace has built-in navigation. I just find it to be so archaic and slow and cumbersome. I'm always using the map app on my phone. And hey, now we got CarPlay in Lucky. It's actually kind of funny. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you very much for deciding to send that to me. I do greatly appreciate it. That's very, very kind of you, sir. It is funny for me to think that I've had Lucky for as long as I've had her, and I never upgraded the radio. Whereas in my previous vehicles, aside from, I think, the Astrovan, that was always the first thing I upgraded, whether I got somebody else to do it or ventured down a path and did it myself. So, yeah, funny that I never did it, but there she is, Chapter 5. Lucky finally has a screen radio. Welcome to the 21st century, Lucky. You were built in the 21st century. All right, moving right along. Yeah, that's a disaster, and that's the next step, because damn. Okay. Well, that's about as good as it's going to get for now. I got the car seat in the back, plus all of our go bags. I also have a big-ass propane tank up here because I don't have Grace with me, and I have Brooklyn overnight tomorrow night, so I need her car seat, but the seat is still swiveled, propane tank because, again, we're going camping the day after, and so I'm a little overloaded right now, so until I get hunkered down tonight, that's just going to be that way, because then once I get into sleep mode or whatever, car seat will come to the front, the bags can get moved to the front so that I have room on the bed and all of that good stuff. For now, though, and I also need water, actually. Reminds me, I just filled up my water bottle here. It still tastes funky, by the way, which is super strange. There, this is straight from the big black bottle. Yeah, it's got a weird taste to it. I don't know. Maybe I need to find a new fill station, which I need to do now. Of course, my instinct is go Safeway, because that's where I usually go and take my Reliance water jug to get it filled. It just ran out on me. So that's either later today or even a tomorrow Matthew problem, because that bottle's full, minus a gulp, of course. My Yeti is full, so we got that water bottle good to go. That's back in there. All that is to say, regarding the water, is don't necessarily have to go tonight. I could do that tomorrow before I get Brooklyn for the evening. I also need to eat. I'm starting to feel a little peckish. So before we take off from Fish Creek Park here, we're going to utilize the facilities and wash our hands. And that's one of the reasons I like coming down here to the park, because most of the locations have these really nice washrooms. Yeah, it's nice to be able to tidy up after a hard afternoon and installing a radio. It really is nice how convenient these washrooms down in Fish Creek Park are. I remember back near the very beginning of this whole van life journey of mine, before I was even living in the van full time, one of the questions I was getting, ignorantly so, from people that were just simply doubting the whole lifestyle of living in a van. They're like, well, where are you going to go to the washroom? And the bucket and the bottle aside, I did this whole thing where I drove around the city and I started pointing at restaurants and malls and libraries and whatnot, because all of those places have washrooms. And while they all come in handy, the convenience of Fish Creek Park for my application has been spot on, governor. It is a really nice evening right now, but it is chilly. I was actually kind of surprised at how cold it had gotten after I wrapped everything up and stepped back outside. The good ship Lucky. Brr. Look at me being all safe and secure. Oh, I was checking for my keys when I got out, wasn't I? Better safe than sorry. Well, that's pretty much it for down here, I guess. Now it's just time to figure out what the heck we're going to do for dinner and where we're going to hunker down for the night. Those are filthy. Step 1, clean your glasses. That's why these Dixon flannels are so handy. They all got these built-in microfiber cloths in the corner. Great. for doing just that. Man, I am so rough on my glasses. It's probably time to invest in a new pair before these ones completely go tits up. What do you say, Miss Penny? Where are we gonna eat? Well, I know where you're gonna eat. You're gonna eat over yonder, and you're gonna be meat puck on the menu. Ugh. All right, step 2. Make sure Samus gets back to her spot, right where she belongs. Excellent. I changed all of the button lights to green, because obviously. All right. What do you say, Penny? Not a lot. I say tally freaking ho. I was driving by the UPS store and I got an alert and I said, oh, I may as well get my things. I just ordered another Blue Ox gasket and nut set for the tow hitch for Lucky, because it showed up in my list again and I said, there's only 4 available. And I figured, you know what, I may as well have it in overstock. So that arrived, that is good to go. And now I think what I'm gonna do is treat myself in the most ridiculous way possible. Well, it's probably not the most ridiculous way possible, but I'm hungry, it's delicious, and I have gift cards. Boom. Let's go pick up a burger from the keg. Parking back here is usually a nightmare, but right now it's not too bad because it's early enough. Where are we gonna put your big butt, Lucky? I still have about, I think I placed the order for $5.50, so we've got lots of time before our keg burger is ready. And I am so hungry, I don't know how I'm gonna wait. One way we can kill the time though is, I know a big fat putty tat who's probably pretty darn hungry right now. I guess it would have been funnier to like DoorDash a keg burger to the van, but when your home has a steering wheel, you go get your own damn food, for the most part. Okay, Penny, you hungry? It's dinner time. She's moved. She relocated herself to the bed. Yeah, you hungry? What? You so hungry? Is it time for your meat puck? I think so. Come on, meet me down here. There we go. This? Yes? Of course it is. What a stupid question. This? Yes. Here you go, little girl. Meat puck for you. Ooh, I dropped some over on this side of the bowl. Let me get you. I got your back. Right. With the kitty cat fed and some time to kill, it's probably an ample opportunity to do a little bit of editing. Stay ahead of that curve. Enjoy, putty tat. All right, I'm doing a little bit of editing, almost done that vlog. Gonna turn the diesel heater on and let it do a blasty blast of hot air. Pro tip, don't leave your pee bottle next to your heat vent. Bad things will absolutely happen to good people. Oh yeah, I need to get my gift cards. Give me a second. Hello, gift cards. Are you in here? You should be. That's where I left you. Dun, da, da, da. Perfect. I was absolutely spoiled by my awesome community and my family for my birthday. A whole bunch of gift cards, which truly are some of the best things people that want to help support me out can do. It just makes moments like this where I don't want to cook, but I would like to eat food. Comes in handy. Watch, wallet, spectacles, testicles, got your keys. I will be right back. Woo. It got a little busy around these parts. Shocking. It must be dinner or something. No way, man. This is for me. You eat your meat puck. Woo, it's nice and warm in here now. Had to wait a little bit, so lucky I had some time to heat the F up. Nice. Okay. Food. Hello. 1 and 2. Oh, this this must be the complimentary table bread. Yo. Oh, that just looks all sorts of worth it. Give myself a knife. Spread some of this delicious butter on this bread. I could pull this table up, I suppose. That's why I built it. Problem is the garbage can's in the way. I gotta open my door just to do that. I don't know, there's something about ordering the keg for takeout, bringing it back to your van, and mowing it that I find extremely entertaining. Oh, maybe something to drink and something that's not a Revita energy tea. I don't even know what I have in here right now. Ooh, I know. It'll take me a minute to dig it out because this fridge is full right now. Where did I hide it? There it is. Haha. Perfect accompaniment. Now that's living. Ooh, they even give me a little ketchup. Perfect. Those fries in ya. Bone apple tits. That's a little bit better than McDonald's. Not knocking McDonald's in the sense that I would never eat it again, but I'm just saying. Dinner with a view of a smart car. That is what it is. And hunkered down, temporarily speaking. I'm thinking about maybe going to catch a movie tonight. I obviously got done what I wanted to get done, and I still have my entire evening, so why not? I'd like to see The Substance. I've heard good things. But it doesn't start for a few hours. I'm actually debating on potentially doing just a impromptu pop-up live stream, and I think that is the way I'm leaning. That'll give me a chance to actually test out this MiFi point, which is fully charged but turned off. So I'm going to power it up, get everything connected, and we'll see how it performs. One thing I will say about that screen that I just installed is it didn't solve the chime for my broken seatbelt issue or whatever the hell's going on. The van still thinks my seatbelt is undone, even when it is done up. But because the radio is now different, the chime is different. And this chime is a lot quieter. So I appreciate that. All right, I'm all set up to do a live stream here. I just did a quick speed test when I was tethered to my phone, my iPhone, and one when I'm just on the Wi-Fi hotspot that I recently got from Rogers. Tethered to the phone, the TELUS phone, I get 192 megabytes download and 42 megabytes upload. And on the Wi-Fi point, I get 104 megabytes down and 9.2 megabytes up. In theory, that should still be enough to do a stream, but that is vastly different. What did I say? 42? Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, we will test it and we will see. And that is the plan here. And then depending on how I'm feeling, it's about 4 minutes to 7 right now. The movie's at 9:30 and it's a long one. We'll see how the live stream goes and we will play it by ear. Penny is busy having a bath on the bed as you do. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Hello. Ready to go live? Let's do it. All right. Live stream was a success. Did just under 2 hours. Everybody said the connection was good if you were on that Halloween live stream. Thank you very much for joining in. Everything is packed away now. I'm just feeling lucky with some nice hot air for the putty tat because Well, that was quite the movie. I think I liked it though. As far as a body horror movie goes, it was very well done, very effective. Hello, Penelope. I already said hi to you. Behind the scenes. Anyway, if you like grotesque body horror, visceral imagery, but movies that are very well put together and have a lot to say about a lot of things, you might like it. But it's definitely not for the squeamish. That is for darn sure. I don't know that you would have liked it so much. Probably not, but there you go. That was a good day. Now we just sort of got to get everything reorganized. We got to get that car seat up to the front and bags to the front, and then it's night time for this weary van lifer and his putty tat, right? Yeah. We got an overnight with the Pirate Princess tomorrow, and the next time you lovely people see us, we will be off for camping in the mountains. That's right. You excited? And so until then, everybody just go out there, be happy, be creative, be yourselves, most importantly, be positive. But remember that you can't make everybody happy because you're not tacos. Exactly.